So one game on the Hive that's never really talked about is Capture the Flag. Part of it may come down to the fact that, like Bridge, Capture the Flag came out amongst a package of 4 rather than as a standalone minigame, so perhaps people are just divided amongst it. Although I'm not here to talk about the relevance of Capture the Flag as much as its quality in question as somebody who does genuinely like this game. So, let's begin. Capture the Flag is very team-oriented, and on paper it sounds great. The idea is that you and your teammates will traverse across the map, capture an objective, and bring it back safely to your home base to score a point. It's pretty simple. I appreciate how much of an emphasis and pedestal teamwork gets to sit on in this kind of game, because for the first time, it feels absolutely necessary. You could make an argument about Bed Wars, Sky Wars, survival games, Bridge, whatever, but you can win those games solo even if the numbers aren't in your favor. It would be difficult, but again, still possible. Capture the Flag, on the other hand, feels pretty much impossible to win by yourself. You need to work with your teammates very adequately in order to achieve victory, regardless of how good you are. But can anybody think of a problem with this setup that might hinder the gameplay? Meet this guy. This fellow is on your team. He has an auto-generated name, perhaps Obese Pair 147 or something. Now you take a look at his skin and his name, and you sort of deduce that perhaps this guy isn't so great. Maybe you get your Discord bot out to confirm that even more, but you come to the realization he's pretty inexperienced. Now, being the decent human being that I hope I can assume you are, you decide to give him a chance. You figure, okay, if he does anything too poorly, at least the rest of the team will take care of it. Until you realize that everybody else on your team is basically him. To them, it's just their username. To you, it's a fortune teller saying you are screwed. Using teamwork as the forefront of your gameplay is great, allowing players to find their own strengths and weaknesses and iron themselves out based on those attributes, and then working together to pull off a super satisfying win is awesome. But for the players who don't know how to do that, what's amazing at first immediately crashes into pieces because one player didn't know how to defend and so they lost the flag. One person didn't know when to attack or what flag curse does, and another player miraculously doesn't even know how the upgrade shop works. Are you kidding me? Jokes aside, I respect the newer players. We were all new at some point, right? And we all have to start somewhere, and it so happens that those newer players might start a game with someone like myself who's been around on the Hive for a while. I can respect that, but in a game like Capture the Flag, I can't respect it as much because if a really good player with like an 8 KD ratio and 90% win rate is the lead on the team and everybody else is, in a very polite way, inexperienced, I can understand why for the highly skilled player that'd be very infuriating, and why for the unskilled players it would be daunting to adjust to all of this. Unfortunately, Hive can't do much about this issue because, again, Capture the Flag was designed with team-based gameplay in mind, so you're going to have to accept a few inevitable losses here and there. The best thing I can recommend is you bring in a few friends who are skilled at the game, and so you won't necessarily get as many guaranteed losses. Let's move on. My first half of reasoning may be a subjective take as to why Capture the Flag may be held back. If you're a casual player with an equally casual mindset, a guaranteed loss probably won't bother you and you'll forgive those newer players. If you're somebody who's very competitive and passionate about PvP games, I can understand why you'd be pissed off at the newer players. Unfortunately, this issue is a lot bigger, more factual, and just worse as a whole. This issue was magnified when Hive tried to fix it with a feature in the game, and that feature did basically nothing, and it didn't fix itself at all. And to this day, this issue still very much persists. I want to see if you guys can tell what the issue is just by looking on my screen. There's your answer, right there. Those exclamation marks indicate that the other team has your flag. So if you see both of them, you have theirs, they have yours. What do people do in this sort of stalemating situation? They camp. They camp! We just sit in our base for the next 4 minutes and do nothing!
So how do we get the flag back?
Just attack them, it's not that hard.
But we must protect you.
I don't need protection, I'll be okay. Get the flag back.
Wait, but what are we going to use? Is that what a sword is for?
You know what, just uninstall the game. It's okay. If you both carry each other's flags, the pacing of your game will go to a screeching halt and there's not much you can do about it. The first team that makes a move in hopes to retrieve their flag will end up losing the point 9 times out of 10. and so you jeopardize your score a little bit, and that risk was all for nothing. Hive tried to remedy this by adding Flag Curse. Flag Curse was supposed to lower the health and armor of the flag holder while everybody else remained the same. In theory, this could work because everybody could target the flag holder, but all it does is encourage the flag holders to camp that much more and let their teammates take care of everything else. So it doesn't really fix anything unless a player just doesn't camp, which is almost impossible. At the end of the day, Capture the Flag is still a good game. It has a lot of good to offer on the table. The aesthetics, the gimmicks of transportation within each map are really cool. I love the item and upgrade shop too. Those are amazing additions. But it's just so unfortunate that such a small issue, such as camping and pacing, is such a massive injustice to what Capture the Flag could be if that issue was remedied. I don't exactly have faith in the fact that Hive will go back and try to remedy it, but if they ever did try again, I'm sure they would do better. For those who do enjoy Capture the Flag, I'm right there with you. I think it's a great game and I'm grateful it's on the Hive. For those who think it's a little bit too frustrating to find much enjoyment in, I completely understand while I may not entirely agree. To each their own with a game like this.